Hi, Jan. Thank you for being on the call with me today, and I'm glad that you and I are able to talk today about a topic which is very important to a lot of people, and also important to me, is adding $100,000 to their income in 12 months or less. So, Jan, before I get started on that topic, I think we want to say congratulations to the people who have, shown the interest regarding this book, and they are curious. They want to know, what does it take to add another $100,000 to their income? So I understand there would be people in different positions right now. Number one would be people who have yet to make $100,000 a year, and then there is a group of people who have made that money before, and they are somewhere looking to say, hey, how can I add additional income in the next 12 months or less? Maybe they feel stuck, or maybe they just need some support, and they want to see what the process would look like. So, Jan, you've been in business, and you've seen a lot of people struggle, and would you agree that $100,000 is definitely the first major landmark for most people to actually make money?
That first 100,000 is probably the hardest, the biggest learning curve, and so yes, I would totally agree with you. And once that's been mastered, then it gets a lot easier from there.
Exactly.
So my question.
So there are also. Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Question. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So my question to you, Minesh, is what is it that you think that stops most people from either achieving $100,000 or more, or they're having a hard time maybe doing it again?
Good point. So before I answer that question, let me tell you a little bit about my story.
Good.
Jan,
okay.
that I was a computer programmer for 12 years. And I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering, master's in systems, and I was a computer geek. And really, in the later part of my days as a computer programmer, I did make $100,000, except I wasn't happy doing it. So I decided to go into speaking, writing, business coach role. And it was not easy to start from zero because I had no background, no experience, and I needed some clarity, some support in order to get to that level. But I knew there were people who had accomplished that in that field. So I had a sense of confidence that if I did some of the things other people have done, I'm likely to achieve that goal. So that's really where it started. And it took me a few years to get to that level. And having seen a lot more people accomplish this number much faster, to give you an example, one of my clients, Steve, he was in the financial services industry, and he added $200,000 to his income after coaching with me for 8 months. And so that was a pretty significant jump in his income, and he credited getting coaching from me. Again, I don't take all the credit because to me what I'm looking for is having people follow an action plan which works for them. The bottom line for me is if I could show people who are serious and dedicated in their business, who have that commitment to say, I will do whatever it takes, and they are willing to follow a proven plan, I can show them the strategies that have worked for me and hundreds and thousands of other people that either I have coached or been in touch with and have seen their line of success as well. So for me, if I want to start with what stops people from achieving six-figure income, the first one is, I would say clearly, is not having a proven idea. A lot of people start businesses with no clear idea, and the idea that they're using isn't proven enough to a point that it will make them $100,000 a year. And they struggle, and they work hard at it, they try a few different things, but they don't really achieve that level of success. To me, that is the foundation. That is the number one reason why people will not achieve six-figure income. Now, once they have an idea which is proven, which they know has worked for other people before, and yet they're not able to do it, are because of three simple reasons, in my opinion. The first is lack of foundational skills. Okay?
So what
if they
does
don't have
that
the foundational
mean?
skills.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what does that mean to, like, everyday people?
Yeah. So when people are looking at their business, they need to know that there are 4 steps to success in any endeavor they take. Now, this applies to whether they want to lose weight, make money. The first one is the mindset. Now, in business terms, you have to have a mindset to attract people and money. If you cannot attract people and money, you cannot sell and get clients and money, right? That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is strategy, a winning game plan. A game plan that has worked for people like you that can be followed, okay? It's not a strange plan. It's not like being the best golfer in the world or anything like that. It doesn't have to be that strange. It has to be something which is clear enough for people to follow. The third one is skill set. Whenever we have a game plan, we also need a skill set. Now, some of us have better skills than others, and some of us take longer to develop certain skills. I'm not one of those salesman type people, so for me to develop skills in area of selling took longer. Some people have been naturally endowed with certain abilities already. They would find this to be maybe easier. Doesn't matter. There are certain foundation skills required which go along with the game plan that you have taken on. And the last but not least is consistency. This has been one of the challenges for me, and I'm sure a lot of challenges for people, is they have the mindset in general already. They have the strategy, they have the skill, but they're just not consistent enough to follow through in order to get the results they want. So those are the foundational skills which are going to be very useful for people to have, in my opinion. Now, once they have a winning game plan, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask another question about mindset. You said mindset to attract money and people. Can you give some specific examples as to what those might, what that might look like?
Yes, the mindset to attract money and people. We have certain belief system in us already. Like I grew up quite poor in India. My parents never had much money, and hence the mindset that I grew up around was money was hard to come by. Right? So if you and I have that belief, it's going to be harder to attract money. Why? Because we believe money is difficult, correct? Mm-hmm. On the other side, if we also not people-oriented enough, because at some point the only way to get money is for somebody to say yes, and that somebody is going to be a person, right? Now, whether you do online marketing, offline marketing, or find another way to get clients, and somebody pays you money, it's going to be somebody, right? It's going to be a person. So if you and I don't understand how people think, how people are motivated, we cannot attract money. So that would be, in my opinion, an important part about the mindset.
Okay, then let's move on to strategy. Can you expand upon that as a foundational skill? Where does one find a good strategy? There are a lot of them out there. How do you figure out which one is a good one? Or do you need more than one?
Good point. Well, that's a good point. The simplest thing is to find somebody who has already achieved that result, who has some similarity with your strengths and weaknesses, and they have followed this consistently to get the result you want. So that's the reason why there are a lot of strategies out there, and there is more than one way to get your result. But the bottom line is going to be, does this strategy based on your strengths and weaknesses will work? Okay? I'm not going to become a great golfer. I'm not going to become a great golfer and be a player. Those strategies don't work for me. Okay? I'm also not one of those pushy salespeople. So that strategy won't work for me either. And we are recording this from a timeshare place where I stay in winter in Orlando. And these people, to some degree, are not very ethical. Okay? They know they could be doing better things with their time than what they do. Because a lot of these timeshare salespeople can be obnoxious and can be hard-nosed. And they want to sell you something which you could actually equally buy at much cheaper rate outside that timeshare resort, okay? And so to me, I couldn't do certain things. Those strategies won't work for me. So I'm looking for strategies which builds on my strength and minimizes my weaknesses to get the income I want.
Okay.
And then it also comes down to, do you believe in yourself?
Okay. Now, skills. There's a real difference between a skill and just a natural talent. So are you saying that once someone learns these foundational skills, regardless of their natural talent, they're going to be able to create the outcome that they want? Do you want to explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, and I'll just quickly touch on this right now because, Jen, I have other information to cover in a few minutes. So the skill set is going to be something you need to learn and master. Now, some things will be easier than others, and some things may not be that easy. If you have never had any business experience, if you have never had any sales experience, there are certain skills which will be harder than others. It just is going to be the case. Unfortunately, there is no way getting around it. The problem with most of us is we believe information is skill. What that means is you go to a school, go to a college, you sit in a classroom, and you take a test, you get graded, and you are given, let's say, an A grade for memorizing and answering all the questions correctly according to what the teacher wanted. So, well, let me just be clear about this. In life, that does not work. What works are skills, which means you can do certain things well enough to get a result. When you drive, there is no test. You either drive well or if you don't, you'll end up in a crash, right? Okay? The same thing applies in getting results in business. Either you are good at communicating your value to your potential clients or you are not. If you are decent enough, at least some people will say yes. If you are terrible at it, very few or hardly anybody is going to say yes. If that's the scale you are on, you got to work at it until you have enough of skill to communicate what you need to communicate for people to respond in a positive manner. And that's what I mean by skill set. For all of us, some skills are going to be natural because we have been developing it for a lifetime. Some skills are not. At that time, it's not a question of whether they are natural or not. The question is more about, are you committed to the results you want in the endeavor you want to go learn those skills, which may not be natural to you, and you still have to learn them in order to be a successful business owner or salesperson or make the money that you want to make.
Okay. And then finally, under this category, you had mentioned consistency. That means over and over again. So do you have any tips on how one might be more consistent in their getting their skills honed?
Yes. So the simplest answer is going to be get a coach. Somebody who is a mentor, somebody who is responsible for helping you get the next level. That could be a boss, supervisor, a sales manager, or it could be a coach. Either way, the person has awareness of what you need, and they also have to be consistent in the direction you want to go. Because at some point, either find skill to learn, or don't find the results are as easy to come as you want it. Or, in the worst scenario, you become complacent reaching a certain level.
Minesh, I'm hearing every other word.
Drop off.
Yeah, I'm hearing every other word. I don't know if this is recording properly.
Okay, thanks for reminding me. We'll keep going. So, and then the last, and so for me, it's obvious. If you don't have somebody looking at your situation, you have to be able to find a coach. Okay?
Okay, great. So that is essentially step one is the foundational skills. What's step two? What's step two? How do you attract clients? Is that the next step?
Yes. To me, it's very simple when you look at getting clients. It's not complicated, but these are areas that you and I need to work on. Some of them are going to be more skills, and some of those are going to be simply repeated activities. So let's talk about the three fundamentals of getting clients. The first is open a conversation. Okay, what does open a conversation mean? Simply start having a conversation online, offline, in person, doesn't matter, with somebody. You are having a conversation with somebody. Typically, this is a person in your target market. Typically, this is a person who could refer you business. Typically, somebody who supports you in getting results you want. Okay, that is the first step. The second step is to build relationships based on value. What does that mean? It simply means you and I are focused on creating value for that person. We are focused on finding out what they want, what they need, and also letting them know that we care about them. So in some cases, education is the best way to do it. You provide education about your product or service. You provide them some resources and tips on how they can be better. And then the third step is to nurture those relationships. If you nurture those relationships to a point where you can feel comfortable to ask them about whatever it is that you need from them, whether it is business, money, or maybe some resources and tips that they might know and refer a business to you as well. So the three fundamentals of getting clients is open a conversation, create relationship based on value, and the third is nurture those relationships to the point where you can ask them for money, business. If you did those three things repeatedly with enough quality people, it's a matter of time before you will get clients. It's not a question of whether, it's a question of time. The problem happens for most of us, we want to do all those three things in one moment. Well, some people might get lucky, but that's not the way to live. You want to do that repeatedly, patiently. We know there are seasons. There is a season to sow and there is a season to reap. Well, sowing and reaping has some time between the two. So if you don't expect to be nurturing these crops for a while, you are going to be disappointed that when you sow and you reap at the same time, the results are not going to be what you're looking for. And that develops the mindset of a long-term thinking person rather than a short-term thinking person. And that's, I think, the key part that I want to mention. And if you and I learn those three steps and repeat them over a time period, we will get clients.
Now, something that I think is also important to build that relationship is developing a compelling or irresistible offer. Can you talk a little bit about what that is and why it's important in building that relationship?
Yes. So to begin a relationship with people, one of the things which is useful is to have what is called an irresistible or even sometimes an irresistible free offer.
Manish, you're breaking up again. Offer. Yeah, you're breaking up again. I don't know if this is coming through the recording. Or, yeah.
Yes, fine. Don't worry. Yes, I'm okay about it. As long as you can get at least something, I'm okay with that. Okay, so what ends up happening in this situation that if we give an irresistible offer, which means that it is what they want. Now, what is an irresistible offer? Irresistible offer is something that the people are looking for. So if you know your target market, if you know the people that you're going to be trying to attract to your business, maybe trying to sell them certain things, take a step that would be consistent before they actually make the buying decision. So for example, I'm a coach. I like to tell people about opportunities that they can learn from me in order to get better, response in their business, which is the reason why I have put together a web page for my clients called Six-Figure Income Workshop, where they can actually learn about some of these strategies. They can learn about these processes that are in place. And some of the information is totally free. And that information will give them the basic information that they need in order to see the information I provide is valuable enough for them or not. If they find that it is valuable enough, then they are willing to engage in conversation with me. Once they are willing to engage in conversation with me, and I build value over time period, they're likely to look at me as somebody who is an authority, an expert, and somebody who has something of value. So that's what ask yourself. What is the compelling offer you have for the people? I have clients and friends who do lunch and learn for their referral partners. Some of them have happy hour because you invite somebody to a happy hour, they meet with you, get to know you. That's a compelling reason. So there are a number of ways to have an offer, from educational material to influential networking opportunities to meet with other like-minded people or learn about things which are relevant to their business or provide resources for other people's businesses, and then they can have that value-added proposition and the relationship will work out well for them.
And then that consistency, going back to that consistency, as long as you're consistent with this effort of the education and the, give, that's going to eventually turn into creating traffic and exposure to the right target market of hungry buyers, right?
Exactly. That's exactly true. And
okay,
once
great.
we do that, the rest will happen.
Yep. And the third thing that I was wondering about, and we touched on it just a little bit with this consistency with your skill set, but is accountability important when it comes to wanting to make, break that six-figure income level?
Yeah. Accountability is critical. I wrote a short ebook called The Number One Secret to Achieving Your Goals. And guess what? The number one secret is very simple. Find somebody who will hold you accountable to a higher level than you are willing to hold yourself to. And if you do that, they will keep you consistent in the area that you need to be consistent in. Because what will happen is a lot of people will look at this information, read this information, and their opinion will be, oh, this is good information, put it on the side. And that's pretty much what they will do. Maybe I'll do something later. Okay? Some people will start a little bit of it, but not follow through on it. Very rarely will people take all of this advice and put it completely in action and get the results. Very few people. Most of the people will need some support system. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there are so many programs out there and so many things that people can attend, and they can just do this consistently and not go anywhere. So tell me a little bit, if someone has kind of gotten into that trap, how can they get out of it and move their business forward?
Well, one of the things I find is the biggest challenge for those people who are going from one program to another, who are going from one person to another, speaker to another, one package of information, one seminar to another, is they typically don't have a mentor who they are listening to consistently. If they have a mentor who has the overall game plan in mind, who is guiding them in the right direction, then they will make sure that that person doesn't run away to other programs. Now, I've been coaching you, so you know what I'm talking about. I told you pretty much clearly, do not buy any other program before talking to me.
Right.
Okay?
Really good advice.
And really good advice. Okay? Because I know the likelihood of you going away somewhere attracted by the promises somebody's making, just like everybody else, is pretty high. It's like, hey, that looks like a magic bullet. Unfortunately not. Okay? Your mentor, your coach knows where you are. They know the strengths and weaknesses you have. They know what you need to work on right now. As long as you are making progress with that mentor and you are achieving better results than before, stay committed and listen to that person. The challenge happens is none of these people have a mentor that they are listening to consistently. They don't have an overall game plan that somebody has put together for them. So guess what? One shiny object after another, they go and chase it. At the end, it doesn't help them. And that's the challenges for people who are buying programs after programs, following one speaker after another, but they don't really have a complete game plan on how to achieve their income goal. If they had one, they would get that much faster than if they invested in all these different stuff that they have been doing. Most of the people that I pick up as clients are people who have been to programs, who have not seen the benefits. And then they come to me and say, Minesh, what you have to offer makes a lot more sense compared to what I've been running around from one program to another. And that's why they feel they're getting results, is because I keep them grounded, focused, and I have a complete game plan for them rather than they just trying one thing after another. So the bottom line, in my opinion, is if you don't have accountability, there is no way you're going to be consistent.
And I totally agree with you with what you just said, because I've worked with several coaches, and some good, some not so good. I've spent a lot of money, and I'm sure there are a lot of readers that are going to be reading this book that have done that. And it's really, really important that you get results rather than just more information, because that's why we're in business to begin with. So what happens if someone is reading this book now and they look at this and they say, oh, you know what, this is really good information, but gee whiz, I think I'm going to start that tomorrow or another day. What would you say to somebody that says that or is thinking that?
Well, the first question I have for this person is, how long can you wait before you get the results you want? If you can wait, hey, no problem. Keep the book aside. Someday we will meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this book is for a person who has reached a point saying, hey, I want results today. I want results now. I'm committed to following the process so I can be getting where I want to go faster. That is the person I'm looking to work with, because that person clearly has now been in a position where they have tried a few different things and they haven't gotten where they want. So they are more to learn from somebody who has a proven plan. And all the information I have brought out today, none of this is magic dust, fairy dust, any of that stuff. This is logical, common sense information. But as a coach, I evaluate what you have already. So, for example, I would evaluate what your offer is. Is it really compelling? I was at a seminar with 150 different people. Half the people in the room had no business being in that event. These people have invested $8,000 to $10,000 for a complete year, including 2-3-day events.
Mm-hmm.
And one person told me, Minesh, she has been following the program, but she's getting nothing, like no results. And I listened to her information, and I said, you're not even qualified to be in this program. How did you get accepted in this program? Well, she was willing to pay the money, so she's accepted. I mean, that does not make any sense to me. For that kind of a person, I would put them in what I would call a level 1 program. Let us make sure you have an idea that works and makes money. If you don't have an idea that is consistently, reliably able to produce money, you really don't have a business talking about making any more money. The level 2 program is for people who have a business, that's a viable business, an approach to get clients, and there is some method to the madness. These people need a structured support system in order to get 6-figure income and more. And the third group of people has already made 6-figure, but they need to have more structure, more support to go to the next level and grow consistently rather than grow 1 year and then go back the next year. Grow the next year, go back the next year. So they're not on a really upward trajectory all the time. They are going back and forth and not having consistent foundation to get them growing all the time.
So it sounds like what's really important, once someone has decided to take an action and has a solid strategy and a good idea that's going to be making money, and maybe they've done a little bit and they've gotten some success, maybe they have a lot of success and they need to get to the next level. It sounds to me like they have to get unstuck somehow, right? I mean, so they have an opportunity of trying to figure it out by themselves, or have a coach, someone that's going to hold them accountable, and to put them on the right path to get them going, right? So my question to you is, do you have a foolproof formula that's going to help people, regardless of where they are in this process, to get unstuck and move forward?
Absolutely. Now, do I have tips and techniques for every business? No. So if you come to me with a very specific opportunity, I would have all the answers? No, I won't. What I do have is 3 steps that everybody needs. The first is structure. If your business does not have the structure to succeed, it won't, or it will be sporadic. Second is support. We need some support systems in place, whether it is employees or whether it is information. We need support. And the last but not least is accountability. We need accountability. At some point, we are willing to be held accountable will make a big difference. And I provide structure, support, and accountability through a number of different ways. In fact, that's one of the reasons I want people to come to the sixfigureincome-workshop.com and check out some of the resources we have for them. Because one of the things that is important for me is for them to get results. I really have no interest in coaching anybody who does not get results. Now, what has worked, in my opinion, is evaluating their plan and then putting them in an environment where there are other people who can support them simultaneously. And I believe in having a group of no more than 10 people who are holding each other accountable simultaneously. And I'm overseeing a group of those 10 people along with my coaches. And what that will do is make sure that everybody is getting a reasonable chance to be evaluated in their progress consistently. If that happens, then they are moving forward. Otherwise, they are just getting information with no support, no accountability, which means after a while there is no progress, or sporadic progress with no concrete results to show.
So there's now you had mentioned coaches, so and accountability. Is there homework? Is this workshop something that you're going to be doing with some other people, other coaches?
Yeah. So Jen, so I'm putting together workshops where I'm teaching people how to do this, and they can come to those workshops. They can find the information at sixfigureincome-workshop.com, and they will learn exactly what we think they need to do in order to get to the next six-figure income level that they want. And at the end, they have an opportunity. Do they want more support? It will help. If they think that event is enough for them, great. Good luck with that. But the bottom line for me is I want to work with people who are dedicated, willing, and committed to achieving their goals faster, and they're willing to be coachable. If they are,
so that means, okay, so that means weekly accountability, monthly progress reports, structured training, homework, resources from experts that have been through all of this before that can really help move them where they want to go.
Exactly. It's an evaluation of their steps on a consistent basis, and that's what happens. If they report their information on a weekly basis and they're willing to have their progress being monitored on a monthly basis, I promise you, they'll make progress in the right direction. If they don't have that, then there's going to be really much less progress and not going the direction they want to go. So what I want people to do is go to sixfigureincome-workshop.com, check out the information available there for the next event in your area. And if I don't have an event in your area, let me know, and I can, based on the information provided by enough people, I can host an event in your area. And I want people to really learn about what it takes to succeed in business. Entrepreneurs are excited people. They are willing to take risk, but they're not always the best people to be coached, because sometimes they are willing to not follow somebody else's game plan. Unfortunately, it's expensive. If you and I don't follow a proven game plan, we will not get the level of success. There are a number of people joining franchises today. Why? Because they believe they get a proven formula for success. But these same people have the money to put in towards a franchise. And franchises are not cheap. And franchises are no longer guaranteed to be successful. Just because the word franchise is in front of an opportunity doesn't mean it guarantees any level of success. I've seen people buy franchises and go belly up. So for you, ask yourself, what do I want to do to achieve six-figure income? And if you have figured out that you need some structure, support, and accountability, I want to be your coach. I would love to see you at one of our workshops.
So,
thanks, Jen, for interviewing today.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time.
Is this going to be enough? Because I could go through some questions if you want.
Not really. I think it should be enough.
Okay. Fantastic.
Thanks. I know you got to go to a call as well, and I respect.
Yep, I do.
So,
okay.
Enjoy the day.
Thanks so much. Okay. Bye-bye.